Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marius. I'm the partner managing the Italtile commercial division. I would like to welcome everybody today to the Italtile Laufen and Chapters webinar. The webinar is about sustainability from Laufen side, and then the chapters will focus on the new trends that was recently launched at the ISH fair in Germany. Just a few arrangements for this afternoon. Will everybody please, if you have any questions, just post them in the chat box. Nicole Russell will be responsible for managing the webinar for us, and she will also manage the questions. If you can't post your questions in the chat box, you can also mail Nicole directly, and she will then direct it to the relevant people to get back to you. Without delaying the process, I would like to hand over to Sebastian Schmidt from Laufen. Sebastian is the Director for Exports and International Sales at Laufen. It's also not the first time that he's presenting at one of these webinars. So Sebastian, welcome. You can join in and you can proceed.
Yes, many thanks, Marius, for the introduction. A very warm welcome from my side, directly from Switzerland. But I remember well the last visit I have made in South Africa some weeks back or some months back in the beginning of February. Marius, just one short question from an organizational point of view. Will there be a second presenter or will it be just me?
No, it'll be just you, Sebastian. No, sorry, Sebastian, it will be you. And then after you, we will give Melanie from Chapters an opportunity to present the trends at ISH.
Perfect. Good. So please let me share my presentation. And it will be a mix actually of both topics. So one topic will be
Nicole, I have lost Sebastian. I don't know if we lost connectivity.
I'm trying to give him a call now, Marius. Give me a second. I'll come back to you now. Hi, Marius and everyone. Sebastian has a connection issue, so he's jumping back on. Just a few more seconds.
So hello, I'm back. I'm very sorry for that I was shortly offline, but I literally and then it locked me out from the webinar. Can you confirm you can hear me?
It's quite an echo there, Sebastian. Perhaps you can turn your camera off, that we can just manage the technical issues there.
Good, 1 second. Can you hear me?
There's still an echo there, Sebastian.
Is it now better?
That sounds better.
Very good. Okay, so I will have a short review about the fair itself, and then also about the activities and about, let's say, the trends which we have been displaying from Laufen side as a sanitary ware producer during the fair. So the ISH fair actually is the most well-known fair worldwide for everything what is connected to heating, to bathroom, and so on. And I would like to go through, let's say, the latest trend which we have discovered and we have seen. Okay, let me start. So here is a short look on our booth, how it looked like. So you can see we really used all kind of levels in order to showcase the products also in a very unusual way. And for us, it was key that we were able to do this on a sustainable way. So the full booth was actually from My Climate certified. So we compensated all the, let's say, all the climate impact what this fair and this booth created in order to be climate neutral. And then another important thing was the exchange with the, let's say, the global community. So the whole booth was under the topic a new era of connectivity. And you see here we had a bunch of presentation, network events, and also very well-known speakers. And they presented exactly the latest trend of bathroom. We also had our very special, let's say, toilet truck on the fairground. This is a high-end Laufen toilet truck, which is in two things, in two ways interesting. First of all, it's showcasing our latest product, and then it gives the most warm and welcoming atmosphere if you need to do your business. So talking about trends at ISH, what have we presented and what is generally out there what we saw? So one big trend what we see is special finishing. So special finishing is more or less in everybody's producer and also clients format. So you see here also this is some pictures of our new Alessi 1 series, which we relaunched at ISH. So you see a lot of new finishing, special colors, and so on and so on. So also you see here a concept which really is, let's say, influencing the whole atmosphere in the bathroom. So it's not just one single piece. We are trying to bring a whole concept of bathroom to the end consumer. We are playing a lot with colors which are, let's say, earth colors. So cappuccino brown, a black matte, and grayish colors. So because these colors we think are the most welcoming and in the same time colors which give you a very warm interior to your bathroom. So this is the concept, for example, which we are applying in Alessi 1. Alessi 1 is one of our high-end series since many, many years in the market, but the relaunch, which was very, very successfully approached by the people, had a big focus on colors and customization. So you can see you can play with furniture, you can play with the ceramic pieces, the bowls on the right side, and then by doing this, you can create really, truly your own combination. So for example, you can take one wash basin from here and then simply combine it with one of these furniture. So this is something which people really, really like to see and like to play with. Here's some other examples how you can play nowadays with colors. So you can even combine colors which in the past maybe you would not have thought of. The same here also goes then along with our new modular furniture collection, where we specifically say, okay, you can select the top color and then you can combine it very, very freely with another color for the drawers. And this goes through the whole concept. Another thing what we see is also that people are starting playing with different kind of materials. So not only colors, but also materials. So for example, we have launched also a series of Marbon wash basins. So these are solid surface wash basins, which are made of mineral cast material. And because of that, you can really create much more special and unique shapes than you used to do it in ceramics, because you can be more precise and more detailed. And a very highlight is also the slimness of the wash basin. So it fits then in a very, very accurate way on together with the furniture. But we are not just thinking about, let's say, high-end end consumers. We are also very much focused on projects and certain volume products. So, for example, the Pro product, which are our main sold products also in South Africa, like this Pro wall hung toilet is truly one of our best sellers, and is often pitched and also then placed in projects. We will bring to the market within the next 2 months also in black matte. So this is really a breakthrough, because it's not easy to make products which you can pitch in large quantity into project into special colors. In addition to this, we are also giving a smaller selection of bowls which can be used to have the perfect color fit, because this is often something which I know you designers and architects are facing, that if you are equipping a project, you need to match exactly the color from the wash basin with the ceramic. So the wash basin with the toilet, that this is often a challenge. Then also in shower toilets, so we have the Riva and Navia shower toilets, which maybe some of you know, which more and more sells actually better and is more and more demanded. So for example, we are now equipping the new largest tower in Africa, the iconic tower in Cairo, Egypt, which is more than 300-meter high, with more than 300 shower toilets. So you can have this now in all color variation, white, black, and also as a highlight with a colored button. So the flush button, which is a stainless steel button, can now come in a customized color like rose gold, matte gold, and glossy gold. On top of this, we have seen that there is a market which is a little bit more price conscious. Because of that, we will launch later this year a shower seat. So the shower seat has the same function as the shower toilet, meaning the big advantage is that you can wash yourself after you have used the toilet with water. And this is actually the most hygiene method in order to keep your hygiene on the highest possible level. And this shower seat fulfills actually the same functionalities as the Riva shower toilet, which you have seen here. The only difference is that the whole system for the shower spray is in the seat. So if you open the seat and you activate by pushing the button, the shower function, then here a small stick comes out and sprays water upwards in order that you can clean yourself. And you see here that this toilet has a lot of functionality. So you also have a seat heating for the winter time when it really gets cold, that you are not getting surprised by a very cold seat, and other, let's say, disinfection attributes. Also, you can have as an option a remote control in order to even save. Let's say you can pre-save settings so that the spray exactly comes at the speed and the position you want. And this you can do for several family members. You can also use the app, which is available if you don't want to get the remote control. And then something which is really very revolutionary is the following. And here I know there have been brands who were marketing this in the past, but Laufen actually really is the first one who has truly managed to achieve this, and also has confirmation from test institutes and universities. So we have been able to create a so-called special finishing called LCC Active. So LCC Active actually kills viruses and bacteria for 99.99% in 24 hours. So in this way, LCC Active from Laufen is the currently only available finishing in ceramic, which is fulfilling this requirement in the market. And this is a huge topic for hospitals. I have been presenting this also during my visit in South Africa, and the feedback was really tremendous. So people are interested in such solutions because in hospitals, also more and more in private homes, you want to have the highest degree of hygiene. And please approach us if you are interested in the special finishing for one of your projects. We can offer this. It comes with a smaller markup, that's clear, but we can offer this for wash basins, we can offer this for toilets, and we will also able to offer this in toilet seats. So this is a big plus, it gives you an extra hygiene in project where this is needed. So these were the trends which we presented, we saw also in other producers during ISH, let's say, the leading there. Now the other big trend, not only in our industry overall, is sustainability. You see here pictures actually from the sea or from beach areas which are heavily polluted by the sewage and by wastewater. I will get back to this later. Just overall, what is the strategy of Laufen? We are following and aligning ourselves with the roadmap for sustainability of the UN. So the UN, the Global Acting Organization, put this roadmap in place, and we are following actually their roadmap. Not every single point of the roadmap, let's say, is really affecting us, but all the points which, let's say, can be connected to a producer of sanitary and bathroom products, we are fulfilling, and the target is also that we are carbon neutral within 30 years. But coming back to this picture I have shown. So sewage and wastewater is a huge topic. And especially what we have seen is that the biggest issue is often created by the urine, which is mixed with the flush water. So if you have urine in your sewage, in your flush water, it's nearly impossible in order that you can separate it afterwards from the normal water. So this means you can only use the water, reuse the water in a very limited scale, and it's polluting the environment. So our idea was, by developing the so-called Laufen Safe Toilet, really a product which can create a big difference in the market, that we are separating the urine here in yellow from the flush water here in brown. And we would separate it in the moment where this mix normally would be created. So if you're using the toilet, in this very moment, you would mix urine with flush water. But we have created a toilet, I will show this afterwards, who can separate this in a very simple way, and also without that people really have to, they don't have to change their manner of behavior. If you can separate urine from wastewater, you have the big advantages. First of all, the wastewater here in the ground line, you can then reuse, and it's much easier to clean, even for the public sewage management. And urine, theoretically, you can use. You either gain energy through the urine. There is a special procedure for that, or you can create, sorry, this is in German, but you can create fertilizer out of the urine. This is actually in German because this is a house which was built in Switzerland as a test house in order to prove that the system is working. So the question is now how you separate the urine from the flush water. And this is how we are proposing to do it. By using our safe toilet, so you see, it looks like a normal wall-hung toilet. There is not much different about a normal wall-hung toilet. Also, the size and the dimensions are very similar. Even if you look from top, so this is the top view, you don't see a big difference. But if you now would cut this in two pieces and look from the side, you see that there is here an additional trap. This here is the normal siphon trap, where still the waste, the flush water coming from here, and also, let's say, the bigger stuff, so the more pollutive things, would exit. But now think about the following. A user would sit here in this way. Yeah, these are the feet, this is the body, this is the head, the arms. And then if he would use the toilet, he would actually urinate or pee in this area. So you see this area is a little bit different than the rest. And you have this rim, this bald rim. So with this rim, the urine actually stays in this area and then is slowly going down to here. So it moves from here to here. And the special trick here is our engineers have developed this separation edge. With this separation edge, this is like the teacup process. So when you pour tea into a cup, and if you do this from the wrong angle, the tea will follow the cup and will not come in, will follow the bottle and will not come into the cup, because water and liquids are following a certain angle. And this we are using here in the separation edge in order to separate the urine from the flush water, because the urine will then go in this urine trap, and the flush water will come from a different angle, will circulate here, and at the very end disappear through the siphon. So this is the whole concept. And you see, we have already actively used it. We have actively also put it into project. We have equipped projects in Ghana. We have equipped also, we are now working on a project in Cape Town also. So if you need references and maybe also local partners who can offer you the back of house system, let us know, because the back of house system you would need to get separately. Then another thing about sustainability, I will only shortly talk about this because it's no news. All our toilets are working with 4.5 and 3 liters, so you get the highest LEED certificate for that. We also have waterless urinals, and our urinals are flushing with 1 liter. So this is a big difference in comparison to toilets with 6 or even 10 liters. And here, this is our latest edition of waterless urinals. So you can see here the urinal from different angles, but it's also very important the trap you can use without demounting the urinal. So it's a very, very practical piece. And then in order to close the trap that you don't have any smell, you have here 2 membranes. And these membranes, very, very thin plastic membranes, they will open if liquid or water will come, and they will automatically close and seal, because, you know, 2 thin plastic membranes, they will seal and close if they are a little bit wet, and will stay like this even if they will dry. And this is the whole concept how it works. So this thing here is the trick. Very simple concept, but very effective, and also not too costly, because we kept it simple in the engineering and then the execution process.
Sebastian,
these are more in detail. I will not. Yeah.
Sebastian, can you quickly stop and just go back to the toilets, indicating the flushing volume of toilets, because I really like to emphasize this. If you go all over the world, a very good flushing toilet flush with 6 liters of water on the big flush and 3 liters of water on the small flush. Laufen, all the toilets in Laufen, standard at the full flush with 4.5 liters of water and a small flush on 3 liters of water. This is already a 1.5 liter water saving per flush, just by the design of the Laufen toilets. I stand to be corrected, Sebastian, but I do not know of any other supplier with this competency but Laufen.
Yeah. As far as I know, we are the only one who has this in the whole assortment, that this is important. So you don't even have to think about which toilet you are buying from us. So you don't need to think about which is now water saving and which not. So actually all toilets from us are water saving. And on top of this, even if you want to go extreme, you can even set up the flushing system like this, that it's only flushing with 3 liters, and you will be fully sufficient, because our toilets have passed all tests about global norms which are requested for a 3 liter flush. So you can even save 50% of the flush volume if you compare to a 6 liter flush. And keep in mind, some of the old toilets even operate with 10 liters. So then it's even 30% of the original volume. Yes, thanks for the remark, Marius. Especially, I know in South Africa, it's an ongoing topic with the water shortage, which comes again and again. Another thing is also our rim, the conceptual part, how our rimless toilets are done, because it's even more complicated to bring such water-saving toilets to the market and then make it rimless. So rimless means that here you see, you don't have any rim. Here, you have a little bit of lip, but you don't have a rim. A traditional toilet has a rim like this on the toilet, the top of the toilet, because here bacteria and things which you don't want can stick here, and this is on a long run not hygiene. So yes, Laufen is a very good rimless flushing system because we are operating with 3 holes here. The one hole here is for the front, and these 2 holes are covering the left and the right side. And normally the right hole, I think, is larger than the left one. Because of that, this stream here, the stream goes faster and stronger up to here, and this one is a little bit weaker. Because if they would have the same power, they would here meet in the middle from here and here, and then they would crush into each other and the water would splash. But in this way, having 2 different strengths of streams, we can avoid this oversplashing. And here, really, I suggest if you want to use latest technology toilet, go for rimless, go for 4.5-3 liter toilets, and use branded products, please, because you don't have a guarantee if you have a non-branded product or let's say a random home brand from a local distributor, if they are really fulfilling the standards and having the capability not to oversplash and to still have a powerful flush. Then we did also more improvements for our production of shower trays and bathtubs, where we are now using PET bottles in order to reduce the amount of new ingredients of resin which we are using. So we are now reusing PET bottles partially in order to reduce the carbon footprint of this material. Also, we re-engineered, this is the second thing. So here you can see, for example, in this 120 to 80 centimeter shower trays, we would use 12.5 kilogram of resin in order to create the product. And by using PET bottles, we would save up to 102 bottles of resin. So this reduces our carbon footprint by 20%. And another 20 to 25 we achieve by having a new concept. Let's say we have re-engineered all our product in order to reduce weight and amount of materials we use. Then the next trend which we see is smart bathroom. Smart bathroom, new technology, a big trend. So a big trend which we see globally is more and more, first of all, public building, and then also some high-end private users. They want to have the connected room, like you want to have an intelligent house, also the connected bathroom. Meaning they want to have all the bathroom products, mixers, shower, urinal, toilet, and so on, connected to one cloud, to one system where they can access it from an app, through a website, or through a building management system, or even a home assistant, so meaning a smart home system. And in this way, it's about different things they want to achieve. First of all, they want to command. So they want to make sure they want to be able to control their products from a centralized app, or from an iPhone, or from a smartphone, or whatever. Then the other target is to configure, meaning, for example, if you want to reduce the water usage of the tap, of the wash basin mixer, or of the urinal, they want to do it by using an app and not by turning a screw or demounting the product and then changing something. No, they want to do it as easy as possible electronically. The third thing and also a big advantage, you can monitor. So this means you can see from one centralized point if all the products which you have connected to your dashboard are running properly, and what is the water consumption and so on. And this goes in the fourth point, insights. So by monitoring also, you could then easily service them, or you can also maybe, for example, if you have service cases, you can combine them so that you save costs in a public building by having the service technician knock several times in the house. And on top of this, by registering all the, let's say, outputs, water usage, time when a product is offline or not working, and so on and so on, it gives you insight. It gives you statistics, which you can then also estimate your future costs for maintenance, and where you can also work on optimization. We have equipped already several projects with this kind of technology with the Laufen cloud. One example is, for example, the Scott headquarter. So the headquarter of the big bicycle producer Scott in Switzerland. They have used a shower from us, electronic showers, electronic flushing system for urinals, and also basin mixers. And they have this technology to see everything on one screen. Then we have another technology which is very new to our product assortment. We call it the silent flush. So this flush comes from here and then goes like a tornado all around, and then disappears in the default. The difference is that this flush comes just from one side and then makes this tornado twist. In this way, this flush is much more silent than the traditional flush system what we have. And we can also achieve the same result in, say, in sense of flush efficiency and flush power, and we can also make it remote. So this we are now step by step introducing in some products, and checking the market how the feedback is. Especially we have received now good feedbacks from some Central European markets, where especially the noise level is a very, very crucial thing. So people don't want to wake up other people when they get up at night and things like this. So here we can achieve good flushing results and a much more reduced noise level of the flush. And then another thing which we innovated during the last year, and this is very, very important for the installers, is nowadays a lot of water toilets don't have a hole. So this means you need to screw the toilet from below with this screw. In the past, we had plastic sticks, which then after the installation, you need to cut here. This was an extra effort, and we also not very environment friendly because there was a lot of plastic which was thrown away. So we have standardized these sticks to screw on the toilets to a number of 3 different sizes, so that you don't have to cut it anymore. So we are now using sticks which are not needed to cut. And the best thing is, if you are now an installer and you need to install this toilet to the wall, you always have to have 2 people, one person pushing the toilet to the wall and one holding it, and then screwing these screws here from below. It was impossible to do with one single person. I know labor in general is not the problem in South Africa. The problem is not the labor. You find labor everywhere, but you need skilled labor, you need experienced labor. And this is a huge hassle to find them, also to keep them. And now the cool thing is, if now one person can do this alone, because if he puts the toilet towards the wall, it will click in. It will click in and stay at the wall. So it will not fall down. So you don't need to hold it when you are screwing it on in the same time. So this is really an amazing news, which will make the life of installers so much easier. And at the very end, our target is to please everybody, not just for sure also the people like you I'm speaking now, like architect designers, but also installers. And then another, this is for the future. We are also having this concept. We have shown it as IHH and we'll launch it at the end of the year, of a modular shower. So you have here massage showers, you have tea, and you have these modular elements of different showers, and you can combine them and you can really create a shower experience. So with this iPad here, for example, you select you want to have the jungle experience. So mean it will start cold and it will slowly turn into hot water by using different spouts, by using different showers, and by using also different sounds and different light. So the light will also adapt accordingly. So it will give you a full experience. And on top of this, you can be creative and create your own experience. So to round it up, just the last 2-3 minutes, some product news, which are important for me. So we launched the new Lua series, which will hopefully then also be available by next year in South Africa, called Lua. Lua is addressed to a commercial public, so for villas, for residentials, for projects, and we placed it quite close to, let's say, products like Pro, where we have a lot of volume created and which are often spec'd in projects, but also often used in residentials. You see here, there's a lot of space on this wash basin to put your personal stuff and so on. It comes also along with furniture, and it comes as a full set. You have a more simplistic toilet here, which can be used with a siphon cover. And we have also the full set of faucets matching the design of the wash basin. Also a nice oval looking bowl and small wash basins where you can place in guest bathrooms. And then it comes also with a larger assortment of wall-hung toilets. We have, let's say, a price-focused version and a premium version with fully clocked lights. And then we have 2 versions of toilets, combi toilets. One is back to wall and one is open back. And also floors and kinds of. So it's really a full assortment. And then immediately by this summer, we will launch Basal in South Africa. Basal is a very nice, very cool set, especially focusing on residential projects with this very, very nice looking round toilet. Super nice, slim and sleek seat, soft close option. The option to upgrade furniture. The furniture comes with push to open, so this means there's no handle. You just push in and then the drawer comes out. And it comes in 4 different sizes for the wash basin, 60, 80, 100, and the double wash basin in 120. All the toilets come in rimless. Doesn't matter if you have the let's say the Basal Advanced or you have the Basal basic model. And also another interesting thing is we will bring you in Q3 this year a full new assortment of bowls, over and undercount wash basins with the target that we give a functional assortment where you can just pick and play in order for what is needed for your house, for your residential, for your project, especially also public building, hotels and so on. So the idea is also to give you more option in the area where you have countertop or bowls with a tap bank, because in this way you don't have to use a high-rise faucet. You can use a normal faucet and can also keep an eye on the costs of your projects. Yeah, this was the end of my presentation to give you some insight about the trends which are ongoing and about ISH. And yes, I'm happy to give the word for the next presentation. Many thanks.
Sebastian, thank you very much. Before you leave, I think one of the big questions always that comes up in our environment is we have all these, let's call them, for a lack of a better word, let's call them all these fancy developments that what Laufen present in the world. And I think from the presentation, it's very clear that Laufen is the world leader when it comes to the development in the sanitary ware space. But the question always comes up, how expensive is this? I don't think people realize how affordable certain ranges of Laufen is, especially in the commercial market. You and I have been working together last visit in South Africa, where we're putting a 4.5 liter wall-hung flushing toilet into student apartments. So I think it's quite important to communicate this. Although this high-end development takes place at Laufen, it is actually very, very affordable products available in the market in the commercial solution space.
Yes, this is actually correct, and I have been traveling, let's say, all over Africa. I've at least visited 16 countries over the last 12 years working for Laufen, and normally twice or 3 times South Africa per year. And for us, it's important that we give very high-end product to the market, but for a very fair price and cost point. And we have worked alongside in South Africa with Italtile and in other countries with other partners to meet these price levels. So let's say in every project where or for whatever building you would consider a branded product, Laufen should be within your choice, because it is not at all like this that we are outpriced or overpriced. This is actually the main issue what I have. I never have to explain about quality. This people immediately believe as a Swiss brand and European manufacturer, but often they doubt about the price point. And when we then really come to commercial discussion, offerings and so on, they are surprised. They are surprised how competitive we are, and they are surprised how much adapted we are to the local needs. And this is also the reason why we are growing every year in Africa about 20-25%, because we're really focusing on the market and want to give solutions which are working, not just, let's say, museum pieces. But the beauty of Laufen is we have both. We have the very high-end pieces which you can place in the best residentials and villas in Cape Town, Durban, and Pretoria. But we have also these commercial products where we have equipped a lot of projects over the last years. Yes, many thanks for the input.
Sebastian, thanks for your time, and thanks for presenting the Laufen solutions. Like always, it is at a next level when we talk about your brand. You know how passionate we are about the brand. I think we've been partners for almost 20 years now, slightly more than 20 years. So thank you for your time, and thank you for presenting this. I'm going to hand over to Melanie now. Melanie is the CEO of Chapters Interiors. We've used Melanie. There's also a huge partnership between Italtile and Chapters. Just as an example, Melanie is responsible for the training of all salespeople at Italtile, training them on the basic principles of interior design. So Melanie, again, welcome, and thank you for your participation today. You can proceed.
Thank you, Marius. Let me just find my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Let's move you out there. Thank you, Marius, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. As Marius said, my name is Melanie. I'm the CEO of a company called Chapters, and we do a lot of what's termed as vocational training in the interior design industry in South Africa and around the world. And one of the benefits of my job is I get to do this about every 3 or 4 months, is I get to sit and do some research with Italtile around trends, which is one of my favorite things to do. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off, if I can. Hold on. I just want to turn off my camera, Nicole, because you wanted my camera off. Sorry, hold on a second. We have a slight operator error. I'm just going to turn.
Now, don't stress, because we can actually hear you perfectly if you'd like to carry on.
Okay, so can I leave my presentation like so?
You carry on, and you're beautiful, so keep going.
That's why I love you. Okay, so what I wanted to talk today was about some of our colleagues at Italtile had the privilege of going to the ISH show in Europe in March. And they came back with a whole lot of insights about what's been happening out in the great wide world. And they asked me to take the insights that they had developed and have a look at the trends and what's going on around the world. And it was quite interesting. There were sort of top 5 sort of themed trends that came out of ISH. So sustainable bathrooms, which Sebastian has touched on quite extensively in his presentation, tiny bathrooms, bathrooms for well-being, emotional bathrooms. We didn't think that was such a thing until 2020. And then something called enduring bathroom design. So what I've done is due to the nature of the show. So sometimes these presentations are much broader trends. In this instance, I'm focused very much on what's going on in bathroom spaces. And the images that I've included in this presentation are a combination of stock footage from suppliers and journalists and those sorts of things. But you'll also see some at the show images taken by our colleagues who were at ISH. So before we started, I had a great deal of fun when I was doing research for this presentation, and I found some very interesting stats around bathrooms and why they are such important spaces and why we need to invest in them. And I wanted to share it with you before I go into the rest of my stuff. So despite common opinion, men spend more time in bathrooms than women do. Men spend on average 855.8 days, 2 years and 125 days in a bathroom. And this is based on a lifespan of approximately 81 years. Women come in a much lower 770.8 days. And it breaks down to women are in the shower for 195.7 days, men 185.4 days. Where it starts becoming interesting is the other stuff that we are starting to use in bathrooms. So bathrooms decades ago used to be quite sort of functional and utilitarian, and I'll talk a bit about it in my presentation when I talk about it becoming an extended, holistic extension of our well-being and our lifestyles. But have a look at what other people are doing in bathrooms. 56% of people read in bathrooms, 43% of people get dressed in bathrooms, 20% of people sing in bathrooms, 15% of people talk on the phone in the bathroom, and 3% watch TV in the bathroom. So that just gives you an indication that we're starting to use these spaces much more. Okay, so let me focus on those top 5 sort of themes that, or trend themes that came out of ISH. So the sustainable bathroom focus. So this is probably the most important trend that came out of this year's ISH trade fair. You know, consumers are so much more conscious of their impact on the planet and the amount of energy and, of course, the amount of water that we're consuming. And a big focus at the show was increasing sustainability initiatives and eco-friendly industrial production using renewable materials while simultaneously prioritizing functionality, enduring design, and longevity. And what Sebastian was talking about in terms of their new technology in terms of flushability and rimless, that ties very much into this, the way that we're starting to move. Also, many designers focused on the use of recycled as well as recyclable material. It's very much about circular economy these days. And there were lots of innovative solutions, such as easy to clean products that we saw on Laufen's presentation, bathroom furnishings made from recycled or recycled material, and of course your water saving features like contactless taps, dual flush, non-splash toilets. And the sustainable bathroom trend also focuses on using products that are durable and that can last for years, emphasizing longevity and timeless design to promote the development of, as I mentioned earlier, the circular economy. And I'm going to talk a little bit later on about timeless design. The next big trend was tiny bathrooms. So on show, at the show, funny enough, was solutions tailored to much smaller spaces to emphasize the shift towards more of a minimalist style of living and taking up space, shifting us away from the traditional consumerist view of bigger, better, faster, more, due to its impact on the environment, our society, infrastructure, and all the things that are going wrong on our planet. So homeowners are favoring spaces. Let me find my image for you so I can catch up. So homeowners are starting to favor spaces that are clutter-free. They're more mindful and they're a much more relaxed way of living. The less you have, the less you need to maintain, the less you need to look after. And this trend combines very high quality standards. So there's no dip in standards about this. So high quality of standards and comfort with modesty and high levels of functionality. And it's simple aesthetics, smart solutions, modern convenience, and of course, customization is becoming very important. So this trend may seem simplistic and minimal, but it actually requires quite a lot of thought, meticulous attention to detail, and quite a lot of precision and planning to still create visually and functionally pleasing spaces for us to use. Interestingly, in this trend, bathtubs are being removed to make spacer for larger or more accessible showers. And there are plenty of built-in solutions for storage in these tiny spaces. And interestingly, I'm going to touch on color shortly when I go on to other trends. In tiny spaces, there's a focus on keeping the color scheme in smaller spaces very consistent and keeping the materials and the finishes very consistent, just to create a sense of calm and spaciousness. Then the next one up was bathrooms for well-being. And, you know, the impact of let's say 2020 to 2022, 23 for some countries are very long lasting. And I don't think we realize the impact of what COVID did to our emotional well-being, our physical well-being, the way we think about how we live on this planet, the way we live in our spaces, the way we interact with people. So in this trend, there's been this very big shift towards self-care. So this desire to relax and rejuvenate, to escape, you know, the real world and what's happening out there. It's really powerful. It's driven from a cellular level. And this is why this trend focuses on using our private spaces, the places that we go to be alone and relax, to create a sense of almost mental equilibrium and promote health and clarity through minimalism. So by creating a sort of private spa, designers are focusing on elegant touches and small little bits of luxury. And the concept of bathrooms for well-being fits very much into the overall holistic concept of well-being, which is becoming more and more popular around the world. So things like eating well, being active, taking care of our mental health, this fits into that umbrella as well. So this trend includes things like programmable bathtubs and showers, smart products, very much like the shower that Sebastian showed us, therapeutic lighting, and experience enhancing multimedia. So working with all of our senses, sight, sound, smell, to promote well-being. And the well-being bathroom is going to become about almost a hotspot for self-care. Then the next one on our sort of trends that we picked up was emotional bathrooms. And this is such an interesting, these are two very interesting words to put together, because bathrooms were always so much more functional. And when I teach my students, I emphasize, don't underestimate the emotional portion of the decision-making process. As human beings, we are emotional creatures. And this trend focuses on how designers can bring emotion into that holistic bathroom space that I just spoke about, and impact us as the users through the use of colors, materials, shapes. You know, it can impact how we feel, how we function, and the senses that they are impacting. So the bathroom has, like I said, it's very much evolved from a functional space to a lifestyle space. And, you know, with the adoption of sustainable products, certain types of aesthetic styles, and things such as technology, we're starting to integrate our emotions as a living being along with the spaces that we function in. So it's all about the user seeking the feel-good experience that nourishes the soul. So there's quite a bit of overlap between the last one, well-being bathrooms and emotional bathrooms. So this trend focuses on aesthetics, and the desire to hide your very functional elements and let the visuals and the colors and the textures speak to you on a more emotional level. So this trend was seen at the show in many ways through things like innovative design, reflecting the need for every material that we use and shape that we incorporate and texture that we have to have some form of meaning to us as human beings. Next one, as a big trend, was the enduring bathroom design. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, where we're focusing on things that are more timeless. So the average lifespan of a bathroom, before you've got to start replacing plumbing or fixtures or something like that, is about 15 to 20 years. So choosing bathroom designs and products that are durable and feature timeless designs that you can then overlay your own personal style as you grow as a person, or as your family grows and changes and ages. It's one of the keys to achieving sustainability, and designers are starting to take that into consideration as well. So the bathroom is a space that should be able to adapt to the user's needs at different stages of their lives. So designers are looking at almost long-term planning, so incorporating certain types of handles depending on your stage of life, and accessibility features, while retaining that sort of neutral look and aesthetic that that has durability, and we are not throwing away and renovating just for the sake of it. So those were the top sort of overriding trends that came out of ISH that our team experienced while there. One of the other things that was very dominant at ISH was how much the exhibitors took sustainability to heart. So they really, Sebastian spoke about it with their stand in terms of ratings and the materials that they used. It's become very obvious at these type of shows. Exhibitors are really buying into the theme of sustainability. So lots of green spaces to relax, connecting with nature, allowing us as human beings to experience biophilic design, those natural elements, recycled and recyclable materials. So it was very obvious in a lot of the stand development at ISH that this is becoming important to exhibitors as well. So speaking about sustainability, one of the very big things around sustainability, and in a lot of our trend presentations we've spoken about this, is biophilic design. So what is biophilic design? What does that look like? What are the pillars of biophilic design? What are the easy ways for me as a consumer or a designer to incorporate biophilic design or to educate my customer on it? So biophilic design is still very much a strong driver in terms of sustainability and wellness. And you would have seen in those sort of 5 core themes that I spoke about from ISH, biophilic design was feeding into all of them, either from a material or a wellness point of view. So in 2023, we're continuing to ramp up our use of natural woods or elements, faux elements that look like natural woods, stone, plants, soft colors, all of those things that help us connect with nature. So in 2023, expect to see lots of continued spaces, particularly bathrooms inspired by greenery. The color green is exceptionally popular in the interior design world at the moment. Wood detailing, potentially as fluting, which I'm going to touch on a little bit later as a trend, and quite a lot of organic materials like stone, just to give us that sort of visceral connection to nature that we crave. Then moving on to colors, you can't do a trend presentation without colors. And this is a very interesting topic in interior design at the moment, because there's loads of color about. We've gone through stages in our history where we were all into beige and then grayish and then gray and then brown. And suddenly what's happened is consumers have discovered color and they're willing to experiment. It's almost like facing a deadly virus has allowed us to become a little bit more playful. So there were lots of pops of color at the show this year, and color, like I said, is everywhere around the world at the moment. So very much following the Smeg example with, you know, Smeg's pink fridges and pink dishwashers and all of those sorts of things. We're seeing a lot of cabinetry, basins, all of those things coming out in unusual colors. And Sebastian mentioned it in his presentation as well. You know, playful colors are starting to lead the game. And we're getting braver as consumers in terms of our color choices and what's available to us, and also how we use color. So we're tapping into our sort of retro vibes. We're revisiting the pastels of the 80s. And interestingly, this is one I find very interesting because I teach a lot of students around the use of warm and cool colors in specific types of spaces, is consumers are starting to mix warm and cool tones in the same space, like a bathroom, which is relatively unusual. So things like deep greens with a bit of a warm brown, or like a blue toned purple with tan. So we're becoming quite experimental in terms of how we use color, which I actually think is quite a good thing. So we're seeing it coming through in Sanware on the market at the moment. There's bathroom vanities on their way to Italtile in different colors. So color is a big thing, but there's two or three colors I do want to touch on that are standing out a little bit ahead above the rest. First, obviously, is green. I mentioned it earlier, and it's linked to that sustainability and biophilic trend. And you see green everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a bathroom, a living room, an office space, an ad agency, a shopping center. The color green is enormously popular, and it's feeding off that biophilic trend. So we're expecting to see more green, but interestingly, what's happening is the tones are changing. They're becoming softer. They're becoming a little bit more deep and thoughtful. We're blending greens with lighter colors, or even a blue toned green or an earthy, more sort of muddy undertoned green are starting to pop out. And you're going to see olive, sage, mint are going to start appearing in bathroom spaces, and you can actually see more of the olive and sagey colors going on this image the guys captured at ISH. The next color, let me find my mouse. The next color, sorry, there's your greens. The next color is the blues, and this, I had to include this image because it's such an interesting stand from ISH, the way they set it up. But one of the big colors for 2023 is blues. So we're seeing a variety of blues, from your really delicate sort of soft baby blues to your deep, rich jewel tones. And I'm going to touch on jewel tones very shortly because they're back. So because blue is the color that's connected most to water, it's very obvious that it appears in bathroom designs. So blue serves to encourage sensations of relaxation and renewal, which are perfect emotions that we're trying to create in our bathroom spaces. So in 2023, expect your blues to go from vibrant, really sort of bold and jewel colored and firm, to quite soft and subdued colors. Then blacks and charcoals. So black tile, so this is a stand, you saw a lot of this at ISH. This is a stand at ISH that's got a solid charcoal wall, and there you can see it paired really nicely with a bit of biophilic design theming going on. So black tile is just growing and growing in popularity because of its capacity to produce a really sophisticated modern impression. So in 2023, people are starting to focus on geometric and patterned tiles, which are patterns, and geometrics are very much trends in their own right. But paired with blacks and charcoals, you'll see it in things like hexagons, rectangles. You can see it in this beautiful monochromatic, almost subway laid vertically, and here in this a geometric paired with white, and it's got marble stone patterns in it. So big at the moment is your geometric patterns to create a little bit of a bold design, or a vintage, or even a retro look can be created with your geometrics. Then Be Still My Beating Heart, they're back. the dramatic jewel tones. So a couple of years ago, jewel tones were all the rage. And then they disappeared for a while and they're back, and I'm thrilled. And it's interesting because they're not really bathroom colors. If you look at the more sort of terracotta red and the mustard yellow on the left and directly in front of you, those are not colors that you would traditionally put in a bathroom. But like I said, we're starting to get quite experimental about the colors. So tiles or finishes in jewel tones are the best option to create a sort of prosperous or even a regal impression, so levels of importance in a very subtle way. So it's an excellent option if you want to do bathroom designs in small spaces to make big statements, and a really deep jewel tone in larger areas like kitchens or open plan living, dining room spaces. It can be quite intimidating. It can be quite overwhelming, but in a small, like the tiny bathroom theme I spoke about earlier, can be beautiful. So here is a couple of shots from the show itself, and it was quite interesting because the jewel tones have popped up in the show, in the stand designs as well. So you can see this very interesting glow-in-the-dark bath in terms of signage and also your display areas. Your jewel tones are starting to, unless you know about the trend, you might just think, oh, it's nice color, but these are all actually designed specifically to tie into the trends. So staying with our biophilic theme, we've learned the hard way over the last couple of years to appreciate the outdoors and the materials that we get from outdoors and the benefits it gives us. So on our trend list is stone materials. And I know Nicole is looking at this pink marble bathroom with big hearts on her eyes, because it's just the most magnificent use of natural stone. This beautiful, beautiful pink marble bathroom. You can see it's paired in the top right corner with almost like a gold, dark, charcoal black complementary tone there. So bringing outdoor elements, started in our commercial spaces when companies started incorporating living walls and rooftop gardens. And as we've spent more time in our homes during COVID and coming out of COVID, we've seen this trend of bringing the outdoors in very much starting to grow, and we've grabbed onto it and we've run with it. And customers are starting to demand different types of natural stones. The pandemic prompted us to value spaces that are unique, comfortable, visually pleasing, safe, healthy, all of those sorts of things. So we're seeing a lot of oh, hold on. Wait, I've lost my mouse. One moment, please. There it is there. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of bold marbles, limestones, extensive use of concrete or concrete-looking finishes, travertine, granite. These are all the building blocks of design, and they set the tone for the spaces that they're used in. Funny enough, this large format use of visuals of stone is actually one of the things that kicked off the latest popularity of wallpaper, because it was one of the only ways that you could incorporate large format images of stone. And obviously we're now changing that with large formats. But as tiles and wallpaper are intricately linked with each other in terms of what they're doing, because they both finishes. So in 2023, we're going to start seeing a renewed appreciation for nature's most beautiful materials, your split-faced travertines, your marbles of different colors, like the beautiful pink one or the one you can see in front of you, deep, rich greens that work with biophilic design, browns, burgundies, dramatic veining, antique textures, and of course our favorite old friend terrazzo. So terrazzo's been around for a very long time. There were some doubts when it popped up on the market whether it was going to stick around. Many people or many manufacturers tried to convert it into furniture, not as successful as surface finishes. But terrazzo, it's become timeless, and it's a timeless choice for flooring and other surfaces. And it appears a lot in contemporary and modern design. And in 2023, we can expect designers and consumers to be finding new ways to use terrazzo into our living and working spaces. And one of the interesting uses at the moment that's starting to grow is kitchens as well as around fireplaces. And these are two images from ISH. If you have a look at the one on the left-hand side there, that's a stand where they've used the terrazzo, very industrial look finish. And of course, on our right-hand side is our dark marble combined with some very traditional wall paneling. The next one that I wanted to touch on was reflective surfaces. So reflective surfaces are always on trend in some way or another. It might not always be mirrors. It might be something else that's shiny, and human beings are a little bit like magpies. We are drawn to shiny surfaces. And at the moment, the trend around reflective surfaces is in the form of mirrors, in the form of mirrors, specifically very large and very oversized mirrors, often paired together. So there's two sort of streams of trend in the mirror trend. One is the backlit that you can see on the screen in front of you, and that's often paired with touch sensor technology. This all started to come about pre-COVID, and then during COVID, when we were trying not to touch too many surfaces, we've now moved on to motion sensor mirrors, which I know that Italtile stocks. And it's a very clever idea from a technology and a hygiene point of view. The second trend around mirrors is shapes. So mirrors used to be very quite functional, and they've developed themselves a personality in sort of the last year or two. So we're seeing them in a lot of variety of different shapes, quite often organic, like you can see on the image in front of you, which was taken by one of the Italtile team at the show. And like I said, you often have them paired together or in clusters or groups. But still very high on trend at the moment is the pill mirror. I just want to go back to this mirror here, which if I'm not mistaken, and I apologize if I am incorrect, I think it's a Laufen mirror. But what's really important about that mirror is its color, which I'm going to get to very shortly. It's got a warm metal finish, as well as it's got a texture detail on it fluting. And I'm going to touch on those very shortly. But like I said, the most popular shape at the moment is the pill-shaped mirror, and it's being followed very closely by a pill-shaped mosaic and tile. The shape has become very popular, and it's a very functional type of mirror because, as you can see, I can lay it vertically or horizontally. And I know Italtile has a great range of these. So I mentioned fluting detail that you saw on that mirror there. So fluting detail, you know, as human beings, we are extremely turned on by texture. Our brains are geared to engage with visual texture or tactile texture. And the latest version of texture in our living, working, and playing spaces is in the form of fluting. And we touched on this quite a lot in our November webinar, but it's definitely worth mentioning again, as this is not going anywhere for quite a while. So it's popping up on doors, on walls, featuring on furniture. It's on bathroom vanities, nightstands. And you can see here on this wall here, the gray one, you can see the fluting detail happening on the stone. It's almost got a marble finish to it. And they've incorporated the luxury and the sophistication of the marble that we spoke about as the earlier trend, and then they've overlapped fluting onto that. So there's a double trend going on there, and you often see fluting happening like it is here in the wood one. So what happens is from a distance, fluting gives surfaces a bit of dimension and texture, and it creates interest for our eyes to have a look at. And up close, it's very tactile, and it gives the surface a different texture rather than just a plain and a smooth finish. So we're expecting to see a lot more of that in the coming year. Here are some images. You can see here on our right-hand side are some of the images taken at the show of the fluting detail appearing on bathroom vanities, and then it's overlapped by our marble trend. And if I'm not mistaken, this is about to appear in Italtile in South Africa, if it hasn't already. Okay. Large formats. So we all know that bigger is better. The larger the tile, the more spacious a space feels, and the more decadent and luxurious and sophisticated it feels. And we all know the reasons behind less grout lines, a larger light reflection, that sort of thing. But when you combine a large format with a metallic finish, it just takes it to a new level. And I want you to have a look at this this image here. So this is a new range coming in from Italtile called the Seattle. I think it's available in 2 colors, and it's almost like a magical alchemy of a mirror, metal, and stoneware. It's this magnificent, beautiful, be still my beating heart, large format metallic finishes. So metallic effects, they've gone in and out of fashion over the years. But what's happened recently is in terms of the technology and the production processes in getting metallic surfaces right has really taken a step up. So it adds luxury and glamour to any space. You can find them with a subtle shimmer to all the way to quite bold and striking. Metallic large formats are actually quite nice to use in smaller rooms because it makes the room feel bigger. You know, the light bounces off the surface, creates a bit of shimmer, it brings the texture to life, and it creates almost a 3D luxury to the space. And this is a very nice range because it works with industrial, it works with contemporary, it works with modern. It's quite a sophisticated raw type of finish, which is beautiful. Then, hold on, let me find my mouse. Our faucets have gone fancy again, which is quite cool. So warm metal accents are back in 2023. Thank goodness. You'll see here some of the imagery taken at the show: French brushed French gold, polished bronze. So softened metallics, you know, trends are so interesting when they go out of fashion, and when they come in fashion again, they're always slightly different. And our warm metals are now starting to be a little bit softer. So brushed or your champagne gold, it adds a bit of warmth in what might be a more stark bathroom. Also, don't be afraid to mix metals. There is a trick to mixing metals, and you can have warm and cold metals in the same space. But specifically, I wanted to focus on brass taps. So this is where that opulent, comfortable, sophisticated, timeless feel comes in. It's brass tones, you know, they really highlight sophistication or simplicity or tradition. You know, they work with any style to make your bathroom space peaceful, inviting, all of the emotional words that we use to describe our bathroom spaces. And depending on the look that you're going for, you can choose polished, brushed, or even an antique finish, but you're going to be seeing a lot more brass around for the next little while. Other fancy faucets are our wall-mounted taps. So these are anticipated to cause quite a significant stir this year. You know, bathrooms will look more appealing and more contemporary with your wall-mounted faucets. It's quite an attractive feature to invest in. It gives the space a more minimalistic feel, making it more modern and clean. It gives you more space, user space on the surface. So it gives you that cleaner type of look that we are after in terms of some trends. The only challenge with this one is you can't install it everywhere, so you need to be quite careful about where you install it and have the right sort of technician or plumber working with you on this. Then last, in terms of our fancy faucets, is waterfall taps. So thanks to technology and developments in design that appeals to everybody, the waterfall tap is on the up and up. So this works very nicely with biophilic design because it gives that sort of tranquil haven feel that we're looking for. So biophilic design works with all of our senses, our skin, eyes, ears, sense of smell, taste, all of those sorts of things. And the sound of the water running from this tap, creating that sort of lovely natural feel to it, will be part of biophilic design to unwind your senses. And it links into those biophilic and sustainability trends I spoke about earlier. You do get ones with options of LED lights. Technology is starting to come in quite strongly into our fancy faucets. And interestingly and beneficially for sustainability, these don't splash, saving water, they use less water, and they are simple to clean. Then this one I found quite interesting. So one of the trends I spoke about earlier with the tiny bathroom was the removal of the large sort of space eating tubs. Very often what happens on trends is two trends sit in the market at the same time, and they're opposite to each other. So people are starting to, because our bathroom spaces are becoming these sanctuaries and places that apparently we sing and watch TV and talk on the phone in, people are investing in one-of-a-kind bathtubs. And have a look at that amber beauty on the right-hand side. And that space just totally taps into biophilic design. So freestanding bars, like you can see the two on the screen in front of you, it gives an air of exclusivity and a spa-like indulgence. And they also create a really nice focal point for things like your space, like your master bathrooms. So it's not surprising that designers are refining tub designs, and they're starting to develop new materials that we can make bathtubs out of, which is opening up design possibilities year on year. And as a result, we're seeing creative bathtub designs that are taking sort of a very traditional standard shape and making it a one-of-a-kind statement piece. So translucent tubs like this amber one on the right-hand side, it makes quite a big statement. I'm not so sure I want to sit in a completely see-through tub or be in a bathroom with somebody in a completely see-through tub. But it's all about mindful traditions blending with new technology to create a showpiece for our private spaces. And these are some of the examples seen at the show this year. When Nicole shared some of these pictures with me, I wanted to know if this was a charcuterie board and if this was where I put my wine, because that would be right up my alley. But you're seeing that these bathtubs are becoming sort of showpieces, and you can see here this one as well has got its shelf that clips into the side. And that is all I have time for this evening. I hope you learned something. I hope I inspired you. And thank you very much for the opportunity to the Italtile team.
Melanie, thank you very much, and thanks for your detailed presentation. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat box so that we can get back to you. Lastly, before we go, Nicole will also issue the CPD certificates and send them out to all the attendants within 10 days after today's webinar. Thank you to everybody who attended today. Shall we have a look if we have any questions that we want to address quickly, Nicole? Thank you. That is now the end of the webinar, and thank you to everybody who attended.
Many thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. Thank you so much, Melanie.
Thank you. Bye.